Hello, welcome to the Skeins of Dreams Knitting podcast. I'm Megha. I'm also known as Skeins of Dreams on Instagram and on Ravelry. And welcome if you're a new or if you're a returning viewer. Thank you so much for checking out my video. I usually come here to talk all about my knitting and making journey with all of you. So thank you so much for checking out my video. My last video was about rhinebeck and so I thought I need to provide a November update. Today is November 18th. It's a Saturday afternoon and I am in sunny Pittsburgh today. It was sunny in the morning. I think the light is gonna go down now. It's like after 3 p.m. But yeah, I thought I have time this weekend, so I thought I'd come and share what I've been up to. I have been quite busy since my last episode. After rhinebeck, we were preparing for Diwali, which is an Indian festival, and we had a small party in our house the weekend before Diwali. And then for Diwali, I made like 100 laddus. Laddus are Indian sweets. They're like small spherical balls. They're made usually with ghee, which is like clarified butter, sugar, and some sort of a flour. So I made two types. One of them was a chickpea flour based, and the other one was wheat farina based. So yeah, I was quite busy over the last 2 weekends, like first for the prep for the party, and then last weekend when it was actually Diwali, I was busy making all sweets and sharing it with our neighbors as I did last year. So I've been busy, and this weekend was the first weekend I had some time to record. Yeah, I've been knitting away. Very surprisingly knitting away quite monogamously. So I felt like I don't have that much to share today, but we'll see. I always end up saying that, and then once I get talking, there's no stopping, right? Especially about knitting and crafting. I have one big finished object and two smaller ones. So I will start with the one that you can see. I finished my plain and simple raglan sweater that I was working on. This is a fingering weight raglan. It's just like a plain raglan sweater. I knit this in Blacker Yarn's BFL 4-ply. The color is called Red Coronation Coral or something like that. And I had purchased this yarn earlier this year when Blacker Yarns was having like a sale. And it was either a sale or a free shipping weekend. I think it was a sale weekend. They had like 30% off or something on their yarns, and I purchased this one. I really like this red color, and yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed knitting this sweater. I looked at Rebecca Close Tolster Tee pattern for some guidance, though I was not planning on gauge swatching and things like that. Usually with a 4-ply yarn, I just use US 3 needle, and I start with like a neckline, like a number of stitches to cast on, and divide it into sleeves and body, and then do the increases as I feel like. So I looked at the Tolster Tee for guidance, just to gauge how many stitches I should cast on. I did not end up following the pattern, neither did I follow the cast on nor anything else. I just ended up just looking to see, okay, I wanted to know whether I'm casting on in the hundreds or in the 150s or in the 50s, things like that. So just to get an idea of how wide the neck needs to be. I usually like my sweaters to not be too close to my neck, especially if they are rustic wool. And this is a little scratchy. I feel like it'll get softer with wear. I am currently wearing it quite next to skin, so I'm okay with it right now because it's cool, but I can see it becoming a bit scratchy if it's not as warm. This is a wonderful yarn. It has like a very small halo kind of a thing. It's 100% BFL. I love how it fits. I'm gonna put a picture of me wearing it and standing up. I made it mostly to wear for work. It's exactly the waist length, or like a little, not my natural waist, but like where my pants begin. So I wanted a smarter fitting 4-ply garment that I can wear to work over trousers and still look like quite professional, because a lot of the sweaters that we end up making are a bit bigger, oversized, warm and cozy, but they look a little too casual for work. So I wanted something that was a bit more fitted for work, and I am very happy with how it turned out. I think I'll follow this the numbers I use for this for other 4-ply sweaters like this. I'm extremely pleased with how this this looks, and yeah. So I finished this. I pretty much exclusively knit on it for almost 3 weeks, and that's how long it took me to finish it. I was knitting on it when I was at Rhinebeck, and I just could not put it down. Like, it was so wonderful to knit with. This yarn was very nice to knit with. So I pretty much was knitting on this for 3 weeks straight. I mean, I did a little bit of other things here and there, but nothing major. This was my major knit. I don't know, I've kind of transitioned into that kind of a crafting journey where I'm mostly knitting on one thing and just doing other things in the background. Usually I have like a lot of projects going and I'm knitting a bit on everything, but lately I want this thing finished, and I'm just like focusing on that quite a bit. So yeah, but that was about my raglan. I'm super pleased with how it turned out, like I said, and I will link everything I talk about, I will link in the description down below, so you're free to check that out, and let me know if you have any specific questions and I can answer that. I left it a little bit of a 3/4 length sleeve. I feel like that gives it a very feminine look, so I really like that. And yeah, that is everything about this sweater. Really pleased with it. Then my next finished object is a pair of socks I was knitting on. Initially, I started knitting on these thinking that they will be for me, but as I was knitting on them, I have a friend who is really into golf, and I just felt like these socks seem very preppy. So I thought that these would be perfect for her, and I asked her foot size, and she happens to have the same foot size as me, which is amazing. So I just had to make the socks the same as I would make them for myself, and I'm super pleased with this. This is the first time pretty much that I'm doing like a contrast cuff and heel. I could have done a contrast toe, but I think I got lazy more than anything. I didn't want to change yarns again. These look really nice. Like, I'm super happy with these. This yarn is by the Cozy Knitter. I love self-striping yarn, and the Cozy Knitter is one of my favorite self-striping yarn dyers. I think other than the Cozy Knitter, I like Woolens and Nosh and the Nomadic. Is it the Nomadic Knitter? I think so. But I really like the Cozy Knitter yarns, and like I use the 80/20 base for socks. That's my favorite base, and it has this buttery feel. All the Cozy Knitter base has, like, all the socks like skins I have from the Cozy Knitter, they have like this buttery feel to it, which I really enjoy. So I finished these. I think I started this about the time we went to Acadia in September, so it took me like 2 months to get through these because I was just knitting on them for 20 minutes during lunchtime at work. I wasn't knitting on them every day because I don't end up taking a lunch every day at work, so I knit on it here and there. And then suddenly I had the inspiration to just like finish them because I was past the heel of the second sock, and at that point it's just like you can get it done, right? Like, so I knit on it quite a bit over a weekend, I think last weekend maybe, and I got them done. So I wanted to just show them to you. I have washed, and I don't really block socks. I will just like lay them out, make the shape okay, and then I'll just lay them out. And I'm gonna gift it to my friend on Monday. So these are done, and I've shown it to you. So yep, that was another finished object. And I started immediately an old pair of socks that I had kind of abandoned. It was I had finished one sock already and started the second one, so I was quite like, you know, in shape to get going on it again. So as soon as I finished these, I went back to those, but I'm not going to show those because it's not like I've done as much on them. I might finish them in the next few weeks or so, and so you'll see them on the next episode. And then I have another tiny finished object which literally took me 2 days to finish. I started and finished it like I started them on Wednesday and I finished them on Thursday night. We were going on a drive and Baljeet was saying how much he like his hands are cold when he drives to work in at least in the beginning, because it's like winter now, and his hands get cold. And I have my fingerless mitts which I made back in September, so I had them on and I made him try one of mine, and he really liked them. He said, oh, this is perfect, like because they're fingerless, you still have the grip from your fingers and they still keep you warm because most of your hand is covered. So he expressed interest in the fingerless mitts, and the moment he said that he liked them, obviously I had to cast on immediately. I called my first pair. For those of you who watched my previous episodes, you'd remember that I kind of made up my own fingerless mitt pattern almost. It's a recipe that is on my Ravelry page if you'd like to see. So I'd made them on my own, and I had done like cables down the front and down the, like, you know, on this side. I can show you I'm just like building up the surprise. So I kind of improved upon the design a bit. So these are Baljeet's fingerless mitts. Instead of just 2 cables in the center, I put 3 because there was enough space for a third one. Baljeet and I have pretty much the same hand size, so I just made them the same number as I did for myself. The only difference is he didn't want the folded cuff, he just wanted them to end normally, so I just ended them like this. And this is a simple 2x2 cable, and I am so pleased with how they turn out. These will make really nice gift, like, you know, it's for any holiday gifting. And I think I might make one for one of my neighbors who has invited us over for Christmas. So I was thinking I would make like hats for her kids, and then I could make a pair of mitts for her and maybe another hat for her husband. I'm not sure. I haven't thought about what I might make for her husband. But anyway, deviating from what I was doing. But these are Baljeet's fingerless mitts. I call them my Maine mitts. It's supposed to be a pun, but also I knit my first pair completely on the trip to Maine when we went to Acadia in September. So I called them my Maine mitts. But yeah, they are done, and Baljeet wore them. Like, I finished them Thursday night. He wore them, or I finished them, and then the next day he wore them to work. Like, he wore them while he was driving to work, and he really likes them. He sent me a cute little text later saying that the mitts are amazing and they serve the purpose and they're completely game changing, and I was completely floored. I was like, they have served their purpose already for me. so yeah, so those are another very quick finish object. I never mentioned, this is Cascade 220 Heathers. The color is Silver Spruce. I had used this as a contrast color on one of Baljeet's sweaters that I made in August. I think it was the Lapidarium sweater. It's like a blue sweater and it has some green as the main, like it's the contrast color. And I had almost like 80 grams of it left, so I made these. These took about 55 grams. So I used up the leftovers from the sweater. And it's funny because in the sweater of his, the cuff is in this color. So if he wears these mitts with the sweater, it just looks like a continuation into the mitts. So that's, I found that cute. I don't think he's gonna wear it like that, but yeah. So that is my third finished object pretty much. Okay, so I think that was everything for finished objects, and let's move on to my works in progress. I feel like I'm going through everything pretty quickly today. I'm not gonna make a comment on whether I have a lot or not. Let's just talk through the knitting and the crafting, you know. Okay, so my first work in progress, which I have been knitting on like exclusively pretty much, is I started an Anker's sweater, and I've already finished the yoke and knit like 5 inches on the body. So I've made a lot of progress on this already. I am super happy with how this sweater is looking. I love this yarn. So this yarn is organic wool linen from Camilla, who has the Camijo Yarn. She has she's called Camijo Knit on Instagram. Camilla has a yarn store. She's a dyer and she's also a designer, and she got this new base, which is an organic wool linen blend, and very kindly gifted me a sweater's quantity of this base because I expressed interest in this color and I said I would buy it, but Camilla very kindly gifted me this yarn, and I absolutely love the feel of it. Like, I swatched for it, and the moment I swatched, I was like, oh my god, this feels so nice to knit with. I need to start a sweater in this. And for a very long time I had the Anker sweater in my queue. I had the pattern already. I have the summer shirt pattern, but I figured like the shirt or the sweater, who cares, right? Like, I just have to knit the sleeves longer, so I just use the summer shirt pattern. And I kind of tried a few patterns with this yarn before I settled on the Ankers because of the speckled linen presence in this. I thought it would be very nice in something simple. I know I was trying to think of cables on it, but when I swatched with it, I didn't realize how speckly it would be because of the linen, so I didn't want anything cable or too busy. I wanted something simple, but I still wanted some texture, and I went, my head was spinning. I was going back and forth, this or that, and I was like overthinking it. And then finally I was like, you know what, I feel like I should make the Ankers, and I'm just gonna do it. And I started the Ankers, and I am so pleased with how it's looking. Like, this yarn with this rib detail, and of course, like, you can see some of the linen come through. I'm super happy with how it's working up, and yeah, it's pretty much like, you know, I just have to do the body. I did short rows on it right after the yoke. I did some short rows to raise the back a little. I tried it on, and I think the neck is quite close to my neck. I actually like the look on me. It looks, I feel like I look good with closed neck things, but because of my sensitive neck, I don't always make that. But I kind of like this yarn. It's very next to skin. I know Camilla has made beautiful cardigans for a couple of babies, I think, and they look so good in the other colors that she has. I really like the green, and there is a pink or peachy pink color that she has as well. I really like those. But this is called dark aubergine. This is like a purpley color, and I am super happy with it. And I'm envisioning this with like a red skirt. So I found a red skirt that I like, and I actually bought it, and I kind of want to wear this sweater with the skirt, and it's good that the skirt, I think it's getting delivered today. I can try on the skirt and like figure out the length of the sweater. I have enough sweaters now that I can make a few of them on the shorter side so they look good with like high-waisted jeans or skirts or something, so I can have certain outfits figured out if I want to wear it like that. But yeah, this is the Anker's in Camilla's organic wool linen yarn. So that is my main work in progress. Another work in progress is an oldie, not too old, but like those of you who've been watching for a while and saw the episodes with my mom, you already have seen this, but I had kind of abandoned it. And for those of you who are new here, my mom had visited me earlier this year, and the moment she got here, I had basically taught my mom a bit of knitting and crochet a few years ago when she came to visit me. So every time she visits me, I hand her a project. Basically, I put her to work. So I had this massive quantities of Aran weight rustic yarn in my stash, and I really wanted to make a blanket with it, but I had so many projects going that I kind of earmarked that whole thing for my mother when she gets here. So the moment she came, I told her, I have the exact project for you. I know you love crochet. She loves to crochet and she likes the simple crochets. So she agreed to make granny squares for me, and I said that she just has to make the squares and I will put them together in a blanket. And she made the square. She made like 100 squares in like a month or 2 months, and I had not sewn them together. I had so many other projects had taken priority that I never got it done, and it was the summer and I was like, I will not really use this Aran weight lap blanket in the summer. So I just had a goal of getting it done before the winter gets here, and I had to start. So I have like this basket in my living room where I have put all the lap blankets that I'm making or quilting, and this one was sitting there, so it was in sight, and I kept looking at it almost every day so that it would give me inspiration to actually knit on it, or to actually finish it, not knitting. So here is the final blanket put together. This is not finished, by the way. I still have work to do, so that's why it's a work in progress, but I have seamed all the squares together. It's too big for me to even like show you it completely. It's 100 squares my mom crocheted. So yeah, so that is basically the blanket. Oops, you can see it has ends hanging. So these squares were made with Philosopher's wool. It's a Canadian wool, and someone had destashed and given me a bunch of it, and it was too rustic and too, I don't like bulky weight sweaters, so it was pretty much too thick for me to wear a sweater, to make a sweater out of. And the colors were not my colors. Like I wouldn't make a sweater in these colors, like in the blues and the, I would make in the lavender, but not like these blues. Like these blues I don't usually wear. So I thought they would be perfect for a blanket, and they are becoming one. So I joined all of them together, and this pink that I have used to join them is another stash yarn. It's not Philosopher's wool, but I had a bunch of Briggs and Little Regal, and I don't think I have, I actually do, it's right here. So this is the Briggs and Little Regal I used as the main color. I know like these colors are not traditional like to use. I would have liked to buy like a white and join it with the white, but I really wanted to use something from stash, and even the Regal is a bit too rustic for me. Like I tried swatching and knitting with it, and it just hurt my hands so much that I did not get any joy out of knitting with it. I know it's a lovely yarn and it's rustic and it's so affordable, but I just could not get myself to knit with it. So anyway, I used it, that's why, for the main color of this blanket. I plan to do a little bit of border edging around this, so that will be done. I've sewn all the squares. I'm currently so like weaving in the ends, and then I will do the crochet border around it. And then I have to wash and block this massive thing. I'm not gonna block, but I'm gonna wet it, like soak it in warm water, and then I'm gonna squeeze out. I have a tub kind of a thing in my main bathroom, and I think I should be able to fill that up a little bit to soak this. And then I plan to just like hang it on my drying rack. Like it's a wide drying rack, so it's not like hanging per se. It will be sort of laid flat, but I'm not gonna bother too much about the shape and all of that. So I'm gonna dry it somehow and it will be ready to use. And I'm very excited to actually wash it because I feel like this will bloom because it's such rustic yarn, and it will become super nice and cozy once I finish that. So yeah, so that is my crochet blanket, and it's such a wonderful blanket because my mom made the squares and I have been putting them together, so this will be a very, very nice memory blanket for me. And the other lap, so I have 2 quills which my cats use completely, like Mango and Oreo do not let go of the quills. And then I have one half and half wrap which Baljeet loves, so he uses the half and half wrap. So I'm the only one in the house who doesn't get a lap blanket because I have not finished my other whips. Hence, I'm earmarking this for me. I say that with everything and then I lose the battle with the cats. I'm sitting weird and this is getting pulled a little. Yeah, okay, now I'm good. But yeah, so that is the crochet blanket that is being worked on finally. So hopefully the next time you see this, it will be done. All right, so that's that. And then that was pretty much the kind of work in progress that I wanted to talk about. I don't think I have anything else, but anything else knitting wise, but I have been doing other crafty shenanigans. Those of you who've been around know that I purchased an electric eel wheel e-spinner a few months ago, and I have been teaching myself how to spin and ply yarn on my e-spinner. I managed to make 2 full skeins of yarn on the e-spinner over the last month. I had been spinning on the bobbins for like a while, and I was waiting to get done with both the 4-ounce fiber that I had to finally ply them. And this is my first skein. This is so pretty. I just love it so much. It's a 2-ply. This is the first time I actually plied, so the ply looks a little, it could look better, but I think it looks pretty good for my first try. This fiber I got from Nest Fiber, and I think it was their December 2022 club colorway. It's called Andromeda, and this is on Targi. That's the wool, and I absolutely loved spinning these colors. Looks like candy. And then plying, actually I thought I would not like it as much after I plied it, but it actually looks really nice. A few times I've plied in the past, the skin has ended up looking muddy, like the colors were bright in the fiber, and then they lost their brightness by the time I finished plying. But this time that didn't happen, and I am very, very happy with how this has turned out. So yeah, and I'm trying to figure out what to do with my hand spun. I have a couple other skeins, but I don't think they're as nice as this has turned out. I was thinking I could make a cowl, but I'm not sure. This is too candy floss a color for me. I have always talked about wanting a blanket with all my hands spun, and I had started a blanket a while ago, but I'm not feeling that blanket. I feel like I used a strand of Holst Super Soft along with the hand spun, and I don't like it as much. I feel like the mohair pairing might be a bit nicer for my taste. So I might redo the blanket with, I want to spin a few skeins so I can color manage as well, and then I can hold it with mohair possibly. And then I have another skein which is, if I may say so, stunning. I really like this. So this is the other skein of yarn I spun up. This is Cheviot. And the dyer for this particular yarn is Wool Fiend. I found them on Etsy, and I absolutely love their colorways. This looks really nice. It had the pinks and the greens and the mustards and jewel tones and pink basically, and that is where I live. So this is definitely like I loved spinning this. Even when I was spinning this, it was so much fun to do that. And then again, I did the same 2-ply, and I am very, very pleased with it. And this is on Cheviot, like I said. This was easier to spin and to ply than this. I feel like the Targi took more spin. I might be totally wrong. I'm a newbie spinner. I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'm just saying as far as my experience went, this was easier to spin. Though I did half, I split the fiber and I did half on one bobbin and half on another bobbin. And the first half, which I was newer then when I did the first half spin, and that single like was underspun, it was horrible, it was fat and thin or whatever, but the second one was more consistent. So it has turned out okay, but I know I can do better next time. I know I have found my footing with my e-spinner, and so my singles have become a bit more consistent and not so thick and thin, but I still ended up plying them, and I'm glad I did because I really like it. And when I was left with a little bit on, because the second time I spun, I was consistent. It obviously gave me more yardage because the spinning was more consistent and thinner. So when I was left with a bit on my bobbin, I tried chain plying. So chain plying, for those of you who don't know, is when you basically turn a single skein into like a single spun singles into a 3-ply yarn. So you basically you make 3 strands with a single and then you spin them together, and I'm not showing it yet because I have lost the way I tied it is so stupid, but this is what my 3-ply or like the chain ply looks like. It's extremely stressed out. I did wash and already set it and everything, but it still looks very kinky because I was trying to figure out my tension while chain plying, and it didn't really turn out the best. But this is a sample, so I'm happy with it no matter what. And I actually got really into chain plying. So I feel like whenever I don't want the effect of a 2-ply and I want the yarn to be a bit sturdier, I might just do a chain ply. So yeah, so I'm like deep into the spinning world now. Just making yarn, then knitting with yarn. And I do want to spin to knit because that's my end goal. I don't want to just spin for the sake of spinning. But it's so pretty. I like making the pretty things. And then it's easy. I found a way to just set up my spinner in front of the TV, and then I'm watching something and I'm just spinning. It's so nice to do that. My next spin is possibly going to be this BFL silk. It is so stunning. I love how this looks. And depending on how the singles turn out, I might do a chain ply. And I have 4 ounces, so like 12 ounces. And I want to make a shawl for myself with this colorway. This will be so beautiful. Maybe I should just take it out of the bag and show you, because I'm gonna spin with it anyway. I've never spun with silk, so I don't know how it will go, but it's so pretty. I love it. So much pink and turquoise. I love it so much. So yeah, this will possibly be a shawl for me. I hope I don't mess it up. And like I said, I'm obsessed with BFL, so the moment I see BFL with anything, I'm like, I need that. So I have quite a bit of fiber purchasing that I've done over the last few months. But honestly speaking, since Rhinebeck, I haven't bought a ton. I bought some gift knitting worth skeins, and I will show that to you just in a minute. But that was basically my spinning section. I do have some future plans for knitting, and the first thing I want to make after I finish my Anker's sweater is a sweater for Baljeet, and I think I'm gonna use this Gilead. I had bought this colorway for him. I don't know what the name of this colorway is. Cypress. This colorway is called Cypress, and I want to make a Dorney sweater by Rebecca Clow. So when we were at Rhinebeck and we were walking around, and I think we were close to the Bare Naked Wool booth, and there was a couple there, and the guy was wearing a Bare Naked Wool yarn Dorney, basically. Sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm getting some texts. So he was wearing a Dorney sweater, and the sweater looked amazing on him, and I got really inspired. And since I've seen that sweater on the guy, I'm like, Baljeet needs a Dorney. I have the perfect yarn for it because I love Gilead. I love cables on Gilead, and it's super soft, like next to skin, and very sturdy. I have a sweater that I made out of Gilead. I think I made the Seasons sweater by Ozetta, and I made it like, I think a couple years ago, and that has become my sweatshirt. Like, I wear it at home every day. It is the first thing I put on in the morning, then the last, like, you know, and then I come home and I change and I put that on again, and I'm like sitting, I'm knitting with that on, I'm cooking, I'm doing house chores, I just like roll the sleeves up and I'm cleaning. I use that sweater horribly, and I'm not kidding, it looks really nice. Even after the use it has been through, it looks really nice. So I think it will make a really nice sweater for Baljeet. He does not care for scratchy yarns. He is much more sensitive than I am. Like this sweater I'm wearing, I don't think he would wear it. Though he doesn't wear things next to skin, he does wear them over a t-shirt or a shirt. But there has been one sweater I made him which he finds too scratchy, so he does not wear it, which is fine. I mean, that's how I figured out that he needs the softer but sturdy yarns, because I've made him sweaters with Brooklyn tweed shelter, and they have ribbed. The moment he touches them, it starts fraying in every place, whichever. I have a sweater which I used the Strange Brew book, and I designed that sweater for him pretty much. And it has frayed in so many places, it is insane. And I really want to re-knit that sweater for him in yarn that suits his, like, you know, wearability. And because I did a lot of work on it, like it's so cute and everything, but the yarn has not been my friend. And surprisingly, I have a Brooklyn tweed shelter sweater. It looks like it has been worn a lot, but it has not reached the fraying like side of things. Like it hasn't frayed. It shows a little gaps in places where the sweater gets stretched, and I was able to like duplicate stitch and strengthen it again. But Baljeet's sweaters, just like the Brooklyn tweed yarn, just shreds. I don't know what it is. I don't know what he's doing, but that's why I'm excited to use Gilead for him. And the other reason I actually need to make a sweater for him is the two sweaters that I've made for him that he really likes. He's been wearing them. He's been alternating them like every day. He loves those sweaters, and I'm concerned about their wearable, like, you know, they won't hold up if he wears them so much, and they'll start getting holes and I have to mend them, which I don't mind, I will do it, but I think he needs more sweaters in rotation. He really enjoys wearing the things I knit him, so he's definitely knit worthy. So this is what's happening next. I'm kind of in a place where I don't know what I want to make for myself sweater wise, but I have a massive blanket project in my head, brewing in my head. And of course, I have a blanket project brewing in my head. Like, what else? I am all about the sweaters and the blankets, I feel. And I will bring that yarn and show you what I want to make. So I have mentioned quite a few times about my college professor and his wife. We are very close to them. They are mentors, friends, like really integral part of our lives now. And they live in Pittsburgh, so it's easy to see them every now and then. And my professor's wife, Sharon, she went to, I don't know, it's like a yarn sale of some sort. And she found, and she always finds these things, she found a massive quantity of Noro. This is Noro Kogarashi silk and wool blend, like 50% silk, 50 wool. And this is Kokoran wool, Angora and silk blend. And I have like 8 skeins of each. She found it in the sale. I don't know where she found it. One day she comes to my place and just like drops this in my hand and says, "It's yours." It's a massive quantity of yarn that she gave me. So it's like 16 skeins in this bag. And I really like the feel of them. And I thought about it quite a bit, what I want to do. Just because of their make and the silk and the how thick they are. They're both worsted weight. I think I'm going to make another crochet blanket. And I'm just thinking of alternating these. So make one row with one color, one row with the other color, and holding them together. And I really want to start this blanket. I'm kind of in two minds about whether doing a crochet or a garter blanket, but I'm leaning towards crochet. But I told myself I cannot start a second crochet blanket before I finish the one that I haven't finished, which is why I got into finishing the one that my mom and I worked on together, because I'm like, I need to finish that before I can even think about winding these skeins up. I have not wound the yarn up. So this is definitely happening next, and I'm looking forward to the holiday season and having some time off so I can work on this cozy blanket. This Angora based one is so nice. I'm even considering if I should use it for a blanket because the cats will be all over it. But I kind of like the feel of them for a blanket. I cannot think of what else I would make with it. I'm not so much of a bulky weight sweater person. So yeah, that's another thing that will happen. And then I have a little clip. I have been watching Only Murders in the Building. Like, I love the show. Obviously, everybody loves the show. And Selena Gomez's sweaters have been a hit. Of course, everybody is talking about them. But there's a specific sweater that I saw in season 3, is it? Either end of season 2 or season 3. And I'll show you a clip of it. Hopefully that's not proprietary. I just took a video while I was watching on TV, and it's a yellow sweater. It's a drop shoulder and cropped sweater, and it has a wide rib, and she's wearing it over a dress, and it just looks so nice. And I kind of want to make that sweater. So I've been thinking about figuring out my own numbers and making a sweater, and I want exactly that outfit. That it has to be a cropped sweater that I can wear over dresses or over a skirt. And I just like the way it looks. It's cozy, and yet it is very chic because it has a wide rib and it ends around her natural waist. It looks really nice. And so I've been thinking about that sweater for myself quite a bit. I haven't started anything around it. I'm just like sitting and dreaming, and I thought I would share it because I know we all go through these same kind of things where we look at something and then we keep thinking about it and keep thinking about it. So hopefully it will eventually transcend onto my needles. I can will it. I will keep thinking about it till I make it happen, basically. So that is another thing that will happen. Then I was talking about my neighbor having invited us over to their house for Christmas, and the moment she said that, I had to plan some gift knits, and I'm reaching for the yarn in this huge basket I have next to me, and I'm really sorry for all the crinkling. Okay, so the moment she told me that, or the moment she invited us over for Christmas, she has two very cute sons. They are about maybe 6 and 8 or something, fun ages, and I thought I should make beanies for them. And like I said, I want to make a fingerless mitt for my neighbor, and we've become good friends now. She loves Indian food, so we end up exchanging recipes, and she comes over quite a bit. And yeah, so I really want to make them something. So I ended up, given the theme of the holidays, buying some gift skeins. Now, when I gift stuff to people, I want to use superwash, which I don't have that much of. I have fancy hand-dyed superwash, which I also don't want to gift all the time, because I know these things, especially for kids, are going through the washer at least, and I kind of don't want to use my nice hand-dyed for that. And I mean, they're boys, right? Like, I don't have colors for boys. I have a lot of pink, and I do end up using that for some of the girl gift knits. But anyway, all that to explain why I bought yarn. And this is Cascade 220. This color is hunter green, is it? Something like that. 1950, but I bought this on Woolen Company. It's a yarn store somewhere in Ohio or Illinois. I can't remember, but I buy from them very frequently when I do buy yarn. And so I bought this from them, and they have like color names written. So this is the green I got. I got a snowy Christmassy white. This number is 910A. And then this is a red, and this is 893. So they are the colors, but they are extremely Christmas themed. And I thought I have like 3 skeins of the red, 3 of the green, and 4 of the white. And I decided that for one of the kids, I'll do like a beanie holding these two together. The other kid can get this beanie, and then I can use the red for fingerless mitts for my friend. And I'm thinking maybe a beanie in the green for her husband, but I'm not sure he'll wear this. So I'm thinking if I should just do it and let the whole family have something Christmas themed. But I also am thinking about wearability, so I'm not sure if he'll wear it. So I haven't decided what I want to do with it, but we'll figure it out. There's some time. So that is basically the only gift knitting that I have planned this season. And I'm super excited. They're all Cascade 220 superwash, so you can actually put it in your washer. With kids especially, I would prefer that. But yeah, so that's going to happen as well. I think that's everything. Oh, I kind of pulled out this other project that I have had pending for a while, and I have been working on this, and I completely forgot about it. So I had bought a bunch of, not a bunch, but like 2 cones of woolly knit when Rebecca had first had like a woolly knit knit along. And I had this beige raglan sweater that I had started working on. I don't even remember if I used any pattern for it. It's like a basic raglan, and it's woolly knit held double in this tweedy, beautiful merino wool tweed. And I have started putting a few rows into it whenever I find some time. And I kind of want to finish this because it'll make a very nice and cozy sweater. I'm thoroughly enjoying knitting with it, and I love this merino wool cone from Woolenet. It's very, very nice. I do feel like buying other colors sometimes, but I don't really need more yarn, do I? So that is another thing that I've been a little bit working on. I am quite far with it, so if I like put my mind to it, which is the deal with everything, if I put my mind to it, I can get it done, but I get distracted. Okay, so I think that's about it from me today. Other things that have been happening in life in general, I have become obsessed with YouTube organization videos. Like, I don't know why. Like, I know why. I have my closet was becoming a nightmare. Like, my clothes and especially my sweaters were everywhere, and I didn't have a system to store my closet, or store my clothes in my closet, and it had become a huge mess. So one of the days I had all this energy that was manifesting into cleaning and organizing energy, and I watched a bunch of YouTube videos, got super, super excited and influenced and inspired, and I immediately rushed to TJ Maxx, which is like a home store here in the US. Very cute stuff they have, and it's relatively cheaper. I went there and I bought a bunch of containers and baskets and all the things you do when you want to organize. And I went to Target, I bought a bunch of things there, and I came home and I took out all my clothes from my closet and I reorganized everything. And I had a lot of fun. It took me all day though. It was like a job. Like, I worked for 4 hours, took a lunch break, and then worked for another 4 hours to get everything cleaned out. I put stuff in bags to donate to Goodwill. I had a productive day that day. But I was so exhausted. I was so exhausted from it, but I got into this massive organization spree, and now I'm thinking about organizing a different cabinet, and I want to do slowly the whole house. So that is what I've been doing when I'm not knitting, and I'm actually liking it, and I think Baljeet is enjoying and appreciating it as well. So that's where I'm headed basically this winter. I feel like there's a lot of time in the winter months to do stuff around the house, so that's where my energy is going. And I will put a clip of me actually doing this organization, because I took like a time-lapse video of me. It's hilarious. Like, I've worked on it for so long and I have so many time-lapse videos. That means I worked on it for a really long, because if you've made time-lapse videos, you need to take the video for a really long time to get a considerable time lapse, right? So, but yeah, that has taken over my life currently, so that's what I'm doing. So yeah, a lot has been going on, and I am basically having fun. Work is as usual busy, and no more trips planned for the rest of the year. So we have like a shutdown at the end of the year. Like, my company closes between Christmas and New Year's, and they make us take time off. So I will have like 10 days off between Christmas and New Year's, and I'm looking forward to that. Though I have like a really annoying project that has to finish before I can get to my Christmas break. I'm not looking forward to that. But yeah, it's the usual stuff that has been going on here basically. I think I have started rambling, so we need to close this episode out. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much if you stuck with me until the end. I really appreciate your comments and your messages, and please like and subscribe if you like my video. Please leave a comment telling me what you're knitting on, what are your holiday plans, anything you want to share. I love reading all your messages. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for all the love you gave me on the Rhinebeck video. It was so much fun to go on the trip with Amy and Rebecca, and then also to recap everything. But yeah, thank you for watching. Stay safe, take care, happy crafting, and see you next time. Bye.